I want to tell a little story that it may not sound the most encouraging at first, but it's really valuable to hear. It's something that I'm experiencing, and it's something that if I knew this going into these situations, it might affect how I felt when I actually came across this scenario for myself. The first experience I had with this feeling that I want to tell you about is started back in 2020. I had just gotten out of a 4-year relationship, a long-term partner. I moved all the way here to New Orleans with her, and we were committed and we had gone through so much, and I was not in a good place in my life. I was partying a lot. I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. And this breakup was sort of a big catalyst, along with COVID, for me to just say, I'm going to go sober and just focus on myself and my self-growth for an entire year. I took advantage of the fact that everything was shut down and that she had just left, and I didn't want to dive straight into a bottle of alcohol or anything like that and just be alone in this place that was still relatively new to me and just drink and continue living the way that I was living. So I committed on January 1st to do an entire year of sobriety. I cut off all my hair. It used to be really long, and I said, I'm just gonna go through with this. What I thought was gonna happen when I did that was I thought by eliminating all the drugs and alcohol and doing these lifestyle changes, going to the gym, that all of my problems with anxiety or mental health or insecurity would just go away. I assumed everything was going to be related to the drugs, and just by making that first step, all of these problems would be gone. The reality of the situation is I found myself on a better track. Yes, I was a lot healthier. Yes, I am currently living a much healthier and much more optimistic life. I still have a lot more positivity than I did now. I'm a lot less self-destructive, and I don't regret any of the decisions that I made when I took that leap of faith and decided to go into sobriety. But it was such a big learning lesson for me to realize that these external sources are not necessarily our one-ticket way to just getting rid of all of our problems. What I learned through this process is my problems were still things inside of me and my past and the way that I view the world, things that required therapy, things that required journaling and self-reflection and introspection. These were problems that I had to actively work on inside of me. These were inside problems. They weren't just something that you flip a switch and it just goes away. And that was big for me. It was big to see that drugs and alcohol, while yes, make your life a lot worse and problematic in certain ways, are not necessarily the root cause of all your problems. I know a lot of people who are very healthy and happy and live good lives that are also partiers, and they work a lot on themselves and they do a lot of self-reflection and they do things like that I just necessarily wasn't doing. This was my first experience in realizing that just because you show up to something and make a couple life changes, things aren't just going to magically fall in place. The second time this has shown up for me recently is for the last few years as I started and I've been growing my business, I have made it a point in my head that once I take the time to work on creative things, like all of this creativity is just going to start flowing out of me. I'm going to do all of this marketing stuff now and work with business owners and network and be in this corporate world to try to get money and to try to get by and to try to get myself established. But my reality and my heart is always going back to when I get time to be creative, I'm going to just flow. Everything is just going to work out for me. Recently, it's summer, it's slow here, and I took that plunge. I turned down a couple different things that I had going on because I said I need to just focus on figuring out what it is that I want to express and to make and put out into the world. And finally, it's just having all of this time that we tell ourselves that we're going to have and we're going to make time for one day, these grand ideas, these fantasies of what we're going to create when we actually give ourselves that time. It finally came to fruition. I finally had that time. I finally sat down to work on things, and nothing came out. Nothing, like at all. It was a very frustrating couple of weeks. It was a very frustrating month. I was doing so much journaling. I was going through all these old ideas and journals. I was getting reacquainted with old passions like art and drawing and diving deeper into my dance that I do, and everything that I did, it's just I couldn't spur these ideas. And this was my second wake-up call for this phenomenon, which I haven't figured out a name for it, but it's just that showing up to do something, just showing up is great. It's the first step. And we hear a lot of people say, just show up, just show up. But there's still so much work that has to be done. I have to rework creative muscles that I have neglected to work over these past few years. I have to commit to ideas that I didn't realize I was being insecure about, or that I've been putting up these blocks about, is this even worth making or worth my time for? I have to work through all these mental blocks, these physical blocks, these technical abilities that I haven't challenged myself to do. I know a lot of people who are out there putting together fun edits and working with lighting setups, and it's not something that I've been working on because I've been focused on video as a profession and how that helps business owners, but I haven't been exploring this other side of this world that really got me into this in the first place. And I don't want this to be like a disheartening message, but I want, if you're watching this, for you to just understand and to hear that just showing up, it's a huge step. It's a huge step. And if you're showing up, I don't ever want you to be discouraged from just showing up, but I want to also make it clear that if you're feeling a little disheartened because you showed up and things aren't working out the way that you want them to, that's totally normal. And that's gonna be okay. Things you have to look for are, in your heart, do you feel satisfied? Do you feel content with this decision that you're making? Do you feel more in alignment with the direction that you are taking in life by showing up in the first place? Because that feeling that you get when you're showing up to do the things that you need to be doing, that is going to be the strongest thing that you have to hold on to when you go through this re-beginner phase with this craft that you're doing. You enter your beginner mindset again, and you have to prepare to start over. You have to prepare to, if you've been going down the wrong path for the longest time, you have to prepare to regress a little bit because you've gotten really good at doing this thing, but in a way that wasn't necessarily leading you to where you wanted to go. And to do the stuff that takes you in the direction you want to go, those are going to be new muscles. It's going to be new mental hurdles that you have to cross over. There's a lot of, as for me, who wants to move more and more into creative work, there's a lot of mental blocks that I'm learning and overcoming. I'm on days where I don't have money coming in or a job lined up, I'm thinking, should I not work on this video that I'm working on right now? And I have to remind myself that just because things aren't working out financially in this moment doesn't make the work that I want to be doing any less important. This is what I'm currently going through right now. This is just something that kind of came up to me because that's where I'm at. And putting this message out there and letting people know that if they're also going through this, they're not alone. And I hope this helps you out. But just remember, showing up is amazing, but you still have so much more work to do. And find those things intrinsic in you that keep you holding on to the path, even when they're not giving you the immediate results that you want. So thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.